Welcome to AstroTwins Radio, your cosmic GPS for life, love, and everything written in the stars. We're Tali and Ophira Edut, the AstroTwins, here to decode the astrology of the moment and help you navigate your destiny like a pro. Wow, there's just so much to talk about this week. I don't even know where to begin. Well, it is the week of September 15th to 21st, and we had to get this recording in before I hop on a plane to New York. So Tali here in Seattle and Ophi in New York, and we're between two eclipses, rounding out this week with one on the 21st. Been a thing. It's been ugly, and I mean, I came down with a flu earlier this week, which prevented me from getting on social media and commenting. And I think I'm glad about that, because the thing with eclipses and events that happen in the midst of an eclipse corridor is that they're never what they seem at first. And everyone's talking about the killing of Charlie Kirk for obvious reasons. He was a right-wing figurehead. He helped Trump secure the youth vote largely. And it was shocking. It was shocking to just see someone murdered in cold blood right there on stage in front of their kids, in front of their family. No one wants that. And also so deeply conflicting, because this was a man who, called for hangings in the executions in the public square. Was just the vitriol and hatred he had for especially Black women was just completely vile. He was a racist. He was a bigot. He was a homophobe. We are even zooming out and looking at it astrologically. A couple weeks ago, we did our September 1st through 7th podcast. That was a loaded week because Saturn retrograde went back into Pisces, 29 degrees Pisces, its final run through that sign, which is confusion and illusion and all the stuff that kind of floats up to the surface. That's what we said. It was sort of like almost like a backing up of pipes or a sewer, like everything that had been kind of hidden below was going to be bubbling up to the surface, or bubbling is maybe too nice of a word. And we had the eclipse, the total lunar eclipse in Pisces that weekend on the 7th, and Uranus going retrograde in Gemini for the first time in many of our lives, unless you were alive during the 1940s, which you may have been, but it has not been retrograde yet in Gemini. I just went into Gemini for the first time since then, this July 7th. So I started to look at it as Saturn is the father, the authority figure, and it's retrograde in Pisces, which has a lot to do with addiction and dysfunction and hidden dynamics. And then we have Uranus retrograde in Gemini, which is a sign of siblings. Let's say we were aliens looking down from a spaceship at humanity. In our own way, we are siblings. And look, a lot of these people who are spreading hate are self-proclaimed Christians who like to selectively use the Bible and scripture to justify their actions and ignore parts of it that are glaringly obvious, which is signs of a cult. But that's a story for another day. But, sure. There are, our mother is a rabbi, and we were raised learning these stories. However, we ended up, relating to them in adulthood. The Bible is full of stories of sibling rivalry. I mean, it is a tale as old as, Testament, Old and New Testament times. So, I'll put a pin in that one, but we're going to look at what's going on through this planetary lens of Saturn, the father archetype, Pisces, the dysfunction and addiction, and Uranus, which is chaos and division and
destruction and order, destruction and rebellion. It is,
So
protest.
much of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that hot-headed, like when Uranus is doing what it's supposed to be doing, it sometimes creates temporary chaos so that we can disrupt systems that are broken and no longer serve us and create something new. But the levels of destruction that have gone along with this Uranus transit, it's in a trine to Pluto. So Uranus is in the early degrees of Gemini, and it's in a cooperative, harmonious trine to Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto also destroys in order to rebuild. It's in Aquarius, which is a sign of society. So trine, if you follow like what are called the aspects, the angles between planets, trines are, this is why I don't like the good bad paradigm.
Right.
Trines are like fully stepping on the gas,
Yeah, there's no off
cooperating.
switch, is how I
There's no
like to
off
say.
switch, and it always depends on which two planets. Sometimes it's more than two are trine, and this week we're going to have Mercury moving into Libra in an early degree. I think it's on Thursday, and it's going to form a grand trine, a three-way flow. Mercury is communication, so here we have this outraged, rebellious mass protesting. I mean, there was already like some humongous protest in London, again, far right protest against immigration. There's all these vigils for Charlie Kirk, his wife, his widow,
Scorpio, Erica Kirk. He
Scorpio,
put
Eric.
out some she put out some like warning message of her avenge and his her revenge. She's a Scorpio, yeah. It's like very people are comparing her to Serena Joy Waterford on a Handmaid's Tale because she came out all like ice blue eyes, perfectly coiffed hair, like stone face, and then like telling people to like start turning point chapters. That's Charlie Kirk's organization. Earlier, I was just saying that it was like maybe a hidden blessing that I didn't get on social media to say anything because as I know with eclipses, information always comes out in waves. It's never quite what it seems. And what to your point about Uranus and Gemini stirring up this dysfunctional sibling rivalry, there is a rivalry. So some people didn't
Yeah.
even know what a Charlie Kirk was until last week. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
for the record, he was an October 13th Libra, heavy
14th, I
Scorpio,
think. Whatever.
oh yeah, 13, 14, heavy Scorpio influence in his chart as well. A lot of Libra. It was very packed in there. um Star Heel did a really good breakdown of his transits in his chart on Instagram that I recommend
She gets a lot
watching.
of shade because she's like the internet's most notorious astrologer,
I know
but
she even had that like affair with some Republican
Yeah.
politician, but
I think
she's
she's an
good.
Aquarius, but she does real astrology, and like love her or hate her. I say she's a good astrologer,
She
and she's
is.
very
Her read of
thorough.
that, yeah,
She's
her
very
read was
thorough.
good. So Charlie Kirk has a nemesis, another someone who is, if you can believe it, far more vile in his beliefs, and that's Leo Nick Fuentes. He is just white supremacy's poster child on another level, where Charlie Kirk somehow managed to slide under the banner of, you know, being rebranded as a free speecher because he invited people who were 10 years younger than him to come debate him. And
So Libra too. Let me just say, like, I feel like Libras know when, the shadow of Libra and their balance is that they can play to both sides and they have that pretty polished
mhm.
appearance. So I kind of feel like Charlie Kirk was to white supremacy what Gavin Newsom is to the Democratic Party, like an acceptable establishment, quote unquote, friendly, kind of like the Ken doll of their movement. And
Who can be a little inflammatory but get away with it because they have like
because they know just when to like
teeth,
turn it on and turn
whitened
it off.
teeth, and yeah, the Ken
Yeah.
doll effect. Yeah,
A
it's
little
true.
gel in the hair, or maybe a lot.
Or just
Yeah.
yeah, it's like oh, but I'm a Christian. I just like slandered, said I wouldn't get on a Charlie Kirk is famous for just saying Ketanji Brown Jackson and Michelle Obama, and I forgot who else he
Said
took.
something about black women not having the cognitive ability. Yeah. Anyway, we're not
We don't even want to spew his
when
yeah,
yeah, like
his
this is
disgusting
part of the
rhetoric.
whole Uranus retrograde and the trine to Pluto and Mercury. It's like there are receipts upon receipts. There are Epstein files and supremacist files and so many receipts. And just it's like it's re-traumatizing for many people to even hear
I
them
know. That's why I
again.
also kind of didn't want to say anything either. It's like there were children who died in a school that day. There were shootings at the Naval Academy. It's like it was September 11th the next day. It's like this person is getting chosen as the martyr for MAGA. But okay, let me just talk to you guys about what happened afterwards too with the whole, I mean, Trump just flew to a Nancy Mace, who's just horrible, and I wish she wasn't a Sagittarius, but she's the worst of our sign. Just, blaming the Democrats, the radical left lunatics, which is like, where
Cult
are
tactic. Mm-hmm.
but they wound up, as they've been finding out about Tyler Robinson, the shooter in Utah, he was actually more likely one of Nick Fuentes's groypers, as they call them. So you may have heard that the shell casings um, had, hey, fascist, catch, and then up arrow, right arrow, and three down arrows. Well, that is actually from a video game, uh which is also like so insane, these like gamer things. What was the game called? Hellscape 2, and it's like
I mean,
a
games have gotten so we were gamers as kids. We were obsessed with gaming, and I can attest that even hours on the Atari and the Nintendo, like I'd be dreaming in Super Mario
oh
Brothers and what
yeah,
was that
Donkey Kong,
Pitfall.
and there's so much more like multi-sensory now. I mean, all of the things like I mean, it was like these bizarre, hey, fascist catch is apparently what like that you say in this game when you're fighting bugs and space robots and aliens. And then the one of them says notices bulge ooh woo, which is some alt-right meme making fun of
You're carrying.
furries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's making,
Oh,
and then the Bella Ciao was an anti-fascist song from Italy during World War II, but it's been co-opted. It's on two of the Groyper playlists. So the Groypers are the people who follow Nick Fuentes. Remember that whole Pepe the Frog meme that the alt-right sort of co-opted? I mean, it's just this like
wow. It's really gotten
underground
far.
world of radicalized, radical right lunatics. They thought Charlie Kirk wasn't actually far right enough because he was praising Israel, because they allowed, which for all the wrong reasons too, because in his words, essentially paraphrasing, like he was allowed to go travel through Israel and see Jesus's birthplace and the places he walked, and he wouldn't have been able to do that, so he says, had it been a Muslim run country. I mean, it was just like
I mean, I
all
think
the
about
wrong
him. Yeah.
reasons.
I think
Yeah.
about the fact that he was 31 years old and he was saying that I saw a clip where he said he started Turning Point 13 years ago. So he was about 18 years old.
Yeah.
And as the
No, he was a
mother,
college
yeah,
dropout.
like
Yeah.
as the mother of a 15-year-old, almost 15-year-old, I'm like, and knowing that the brain doesn't even finish developing
Till
till age 20,
25.
25. Yeah. So that's what kind of made me go, let me look into these family dynamics too, because
Hmm.
um he was indoctrinated with whatever that was. He was kind of the perfect tool of whatever the hell was being plotted
Yeah,
there.
Don Jr. found him.
Oh,
Yeah, they
groomed him. It was
he
like
was
almost like an
groomed by
alternative,
older men,
like
older
the
white men. He was.
Epstein Island, to what they did to women. They groomed young men to be their you know,
Well, and
they're
that's what's
martyrs.
happening now with Nick Fuentes and Steve Bannon is even involved in this kind of this get them while they're in their young gamer phase and indoctrinate them. So it's so
So
terrifying that
like,
well, you should the last thing I want to say about this is that apparently the Groypers have been showing up at Charlie Kirk's events
mm,
and sort of you know
heckling.
heckling, getting in line to debate him, but all hitting him with the same, like there's been this whole sibling, if you will, rivalry
Hmm.
between Nick Fuentes and Charlie Kirk. And Nick Fuentes is August 18th Leo. Um,
Wow.
yeah, he's
And
just
October 14th.
despicable.
I'm thinking about like Cain and Abel or Jacob and Esau and the birthright or Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat Broadway play where his brothers threw him into a pit. I mean,
Wow,
the
yeah.
Bible reads like, a really insane reality show, when you see the things that particularly male brothers have done to each other in those stories. So I have something here from this is rooted in the work in a book called Adult Children of Alcoholics and the Family Roles. I read it many years ago and I often suggest it to clients because a lot of our readers and clients, I mean, there's no judgment here. Like there are way less families that don't have some. I don't really think I even know a family that hasn't been touched by addiction with at least one family member. If you think about it, at least it could have been a grandparent. I mean, a lot of people's
Even
grand
Trump doesn't drink because his brother died from
right. I mean,
alcoholism.
it's that the Cartman drama triangle that we've talked about before. I highly recommend checking out where you get stuck in either playing the ever shifting role of victim, hero, and perpetrator, and you can always end up in one or the other, and there's no way
I
out of
think it's
that.
victim rescuer, or is it
Yeah,
hero
hero, rescuer,
rescuer?
whatever,
Yeah.
same difference. Like, but yes, so a lot of people get stuck in those, and the roles. I printed this out. It's written by Michael Hamilton. It's called Stepping Stones to Healing. So one of the roles is the addict or the alcoholic, and I think it's kind of like the dysfunctional person that's creating all the chaos. From what I understand, the person who's creating dysfunction um, becomes the center point of the whole family, and everyone else is adapting to them. So we know who that is in America, but there are a lot of people who are in minor versions of that role while playing another role. So role number two, the enabler, they are the mouthpiece, what they call flying monkey and narcissism. They want to smooth everything over in the family, protect the family, um, convince themselves that in addictive families they're convincing themselves that alcohol isn't a problem, and
Who do you think that is? Like Marco Rubio and
everyone around
JD
Donald Trump,
Vance,
Vance, yes,
Moses, Mike Johnson, MAGA
all the
Mike
people. I
Johnson.
mean, like, let's not forget,
What a
JD
joke.
Vance was like a never Trump. All the people that were on the what they're calling the pedo patio, the paved over rose garden, olive garden, uh Dr. Oz with his red tie. They drank the Kool-Aid and they are there to just, everything's all right. Everything. Oh, Carolyn Levitt, you know,
Oh
all of
God,
those
the
people.
worst.
The enabler. And then there's also the hero. So, and I feel like maybe Charlie Kirk was somewhere in there. Like, well, he was the family hero. So your typical type A personality, hardworking, overachieving perfectionist, often the oldest child, trying to give hope to the rest of the family, always under pressure to be the hero. and super anxious. Role 4 is the scapegoat. So the one who gets blamed for the family's problems. So that's basically the radical left lunatics, the woke mob. It's the professors and the newscasters who are being fired for simply reporting facts or expressing a mild observation about
Or the people who don't have full citizenships who dared to speak out
yes.
against Charlie Kirk, who are now, did you hear that? Like they're being like they are looking for people who spoke out about Charlie Kirk who weren't citizens and were going to deport them.
Wow. There was a Fox News anchor who said that homeless and mentally ill people, because they
Should be
don't take, yeah, should be
euthanized.
just, yeah, given an involuntary lethal injection. Someone in the comments of that one that I saw pointed out, most of those people are veterans who served the country. So we are under a mass psychosis. We
Yeah.
are under the influence of a cult leader. And the more I read from the cult expert, the more I agree that that is absolutely what's happening.
Trump derangement syndrome is not what they think it is. You know,
No,
it's
it's
literally the people in the MAGA cult and the Groypers who are even farther right, and this whole Steve Bannon conspiracy project 2025. I mean, all this stuff
I think
sounds
what's,
so
yeah,
sci-fi, but it's happening, people. It's
it's
real.
happening in, but it's also like making me aware of like how anything can be a cult no matter what ideology, even if it starts out as seemingly on the side of humanity. This can
Yeah.
happen in any organization where there is a person who has too much power and demands obedience from the people that they're working with. It could be a man, it could be a woman, it could be in your family, it could be in your friend circle, it could be in your office. Like I think we owe it to ourselves, especially with Saturn retrograde in Pisces and Uranus retrograde in Gemini. Like, what is the real sickness here? I feel like we're living in this collective sibling rivalry, dysfunctional family. Like, what is the
Yeah.
source of the dysfunction? I mean, human design talks about this 400-year cycle, the cross of planning that began in 1615, that's going to end February 15th, 2027. We'll talk about the north and south node of that as well, that coincides. But the cross of planning, as it's called, these 4 points, gene keys, human design gates, essentially, this 400-year period was about creating institutions and countries and family systems that enabled humanity to thrive. But as we get to the end of it, we're in the shadow of it. So we are seeing the shadow of family when it demands loyalty and obedience and fealty. I don't even know that I would put Charlie Kirk in the hero. The scapegoats, yes, the immigrants. This role is one that maybe Charlie Kirk was in, the mascot. Could be. I mean, the mascot can be sort of like the
He was.
class
I think he
clown.
moved up a little bit to the,
Yeah.
from that, but maybe in the beginning.
Yeah. It's like, well, the mascot often uses humor to deflect the stress of the situation. But I feel like we could also say like maybe being entertaining in some way, like Steve Bannon is a mascot in some way. Like,
And a
um,
puppet master
puppet.
too.
Yeah, he is too. So like I don't know that anybody fits in all of these roles to a T,
I mean,
but
Stephen Miller can be a little bit of that, but then he's the architect of so
he's an
much
yeah.
insanity too.
The hero, the type A. Yeah, it's like I think the hero becomes like,
They're all vying to be the ultimate hero.
yeah,
Russell Vogt,
they
yeah.
really are. And then there's the
The
lost.
mascots are the Fox News, Pete
Oh
Hegseth,
yeah, yeah.
all the people who just pander to him, Cash
Mm-hmm.
Patel to
Yep.
Pam Bondi,
The mascots, it
Christy
says,
No.
often grow up to self medicate with alcohol, perpetuating the cycle of addiction in an alcoholic family. So, the ones that are drinking the Kool Aid, yeah, the ones that were not
Right. The
on.
spiked Kool-Aid is the
Yeah, I think
alcohol
like
here.
Marco Rubio is a great example of that. Like people who called out Trump and now are just complete loyalists. Like the more they're like him.
What
And then
about Cash Patel just, with his bizarre dog whistle when he made his speech, like note making some oath keepers comment like
Oh,
we've
wow.
got the watch, see you in Valhalla, brother, it's like,
Oh my
what?
God.
Yeah, Pisces, he's
What?
a Pisces, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah, keep
last
going.
role is the lost child. I do think that there's a rebel too. Like there's the what I remember from the book is like the, not that I like the term black sheep, but that was what it was, when I read the 1980s edition of it. So the rebel, the lost child is like kind of the fragile, withdrawn one who's invisible to the rest of the family. I don't know, is that Tiffany Trump?
Oh,
Who?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tiffany, who I don't
yeah,
know her.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know about that because who knows what the hell she's doing behind the scenes. Might even be scarier, but they put off
probably
making
not. I think she's just
decisions, have trouble
shopping and
forming intimate relationships. You know what? Those are probably the Republicans who are silent. They're not. They're doing the neutral, saying nothing, waiting for the midterms, kind of
right,
like,
like
yeah, like
Lisa Murkowski, who always, oh, I object. And then,
right. But when a push comes to shove, they're in
they
freeze
always
and
vote. They
fawn.
always vote. They could make a difference with their vote, but they always toe the party line. Or Jill Stein, the operative. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I think it's like obviously I'm not an expert in this. I'm reading literature that's out there widely, and we always defer to the experts. But it's the pattern is worth observing and seeing like what. So I'm like really getting so much out of reading Stephen Hassan's The Cult of Trump because he's breaking down. He was in a cult in the Moonies in the 70s, got deprogrammed and got himself out of there and became a licensed mental health professional. I talked about him last week. Shout out to Sandy, our fellow Sag, who told me about him. And um, yeah, it's just one of the things that I saw on his Instagram was he was talking to another expert that when people come under the spell of someone who's a cult leader, there's sort of a collective psychosis that happens. And when that leader goes away, the people actually get back to their right mind. So what I'm kind of processing as Saturn is
Mhm.
retrograde in Pisces for this final round is like it can happen to anyone. Anyone can get pulled into a cult mentality and how important it is to stay out of that. So
Even
let's talk about
astrology can get culty. And I
anything. It
also want to
does.
underscore the fact that Saturn may have slipped back into Pisces, but it's going to be in Aries again. Uh,
February.
yeah, starting February 13th. And Neptune, which is mass delusion, moved into Aries, the sign of war, on March 30th to October 22nd this year, and then January 26th, 2026. Neptune goes back into Aries for 13 more years. The Saturn and Neptune, which only unite every 35 years, are going to join forces at 0 degrees Aries February 20th. So I'm just noticing all these like war, like the Pete Hegseth Department of War, Russia flying into Poland's airspace. Like there's so much the civil war that's being fomented. Even Erica Kirk, what did she say? Her cries will echo around the world like a battle cry. These war video games. It's like it's just like this desire, this delusion, this, cosplay and rebranding of war is something we have to really be careful. Like, we're gonna
And the
have,
subconscious impact of the Pisces return too is going like we have to be careful
yeah.
because that is going to imprint like
Okay, so the eclipse, we have our last eclipse happening this Sunday, the 21st, and it's at that 29th degree, that anaretic degree, that very tricky,
another
edgy,
one.
loaded karmic degree. And it's going to be opposite Saturn. So this eclipse is a big deal because it's the second new moon in Virgo. That alone, we had one on August 23rd. So you want to look back to what was happening for you a month ago. And on just a more positive note, like what systems did you put into place? I actually started working out with a trainer and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling stronger, um,
Mhm.
back in my body, back in that healthier zone despite getting a cold. Um, but that second eclipse, like what systems, what workflows did you put in place? Ophi, you started using LinkedIn more and
Yeah.
finding it to be a platform. So and Venus is going into Virgo on Friday. Uh Mercury's leaving Virgo, but this Virgo is like facts, facts, facts. So expect a lot of data to come to light. Um, I don't even know if this was true or not, but people are saying and showing it's been taken down. I don't even know if this is true or not, but apparently a book called what was it called? The Killing of Charlie Kirk was published one day before he died
Oh my
on
God.
Amazon. Like, hold on, I've got to look this up. Yeah, it was called The Shooting of Charlie Kirk. But I'm it's in the Economic Times.
Oh,
Screenshots circulating. There's more mystery around that, but it was like published and then taken down. I'm like, there's just a lot of loaded conspiracy. It was by some, you know, the author Anastasia J. Casey, who's like this mysterious figure. It's like, what is going on here? This is some
wow.
crazy ass eclipse stuff that I don't even just so many layers to unpack that I don't even know if I want to unpack. But it's
I
just
know.
like this is where we are. This is the year of the divine pendulum, which is
Oh,
actually
yeah. Let's take the time now
this is a good
to,
moment to talk
yeah,
about, yeah, next year, because I think we all need to focus on what is coming as we emerge from this crucible of a
yeah. So
2025.
let's reveal the 2026 theme. We did that to those of you who are on our 8 Lionsgate Tarot party ritual. So let's tell people what is the theme for 2026.
Drum roll, please. 2026 is the year of the unbridled spirit. Da, 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 da. And it took us a long time to kind of come up with that, but here's the where it emerged from. So 2026 is a 1 year fresh cycle in numerology, charging forward, and it is a year of the fire horse. So we kind of went with the unbridled, this is a wild horse energy. This is galloping forward, but also um, the spirit of everything that you do next year is going to determine everything. I mean, we have all these pendulum planets are settling back into place. We've got Saturn and Neptune settling into Aries, 2 years together there, and then Neptune stays. Uranus in Gemini for 7 years. The lunar nodes, are moving into Aquarius and Leo midway through the year. South node in Leo, North node in Aquarius, and then we have Jupiter spending the first half of the year in Cancer and then moving on to Leo. So we're looking at some Leos next year.
Ooh,
JD Vance is a Leo, Nick Fuentes. I don't
Cash
know what
Patel.
role, Cash Patel. We were saying, like with Jupiter there and the South Node, there could be some karmic exposure. It's going to be very interesting to watch. But for all of us, like the unbridled spirit, whatever you've been doing, because there's been a lot of inner work that we've all had to do in 2025, a lot of just like, whew, processing. This is just like getting used to this whole new reality. Next year, we wrote all about how you can take that energy and bring it out into the world, create the world that you want for yourself, for the people around you. So, of
Yes.
course, as we do every year, we have individual books for each of the 12 signs, which have planner pages in them. So if you're the sort of person who likes to write notes, calendar, the individual sign book is for you. And we also have the big book, which has all 12 signs. So we have bundles too, so you can get the big book to put on your coffee table and read about everyone in your family. Then you can have your personal planner for your zodiac sign. That's what a lot of people like to do. But for every single sign, here's what we write. I mean, we put so much time and energy into this, and we love being able to help you get ready for the full year ahead. So, what you get are your top five themes. We talk about the big five transits, which also includes Venus turning retrograde this year in the fall, and Scorpio and Libra in 2026, repeating a cycle that happened in 2018. So, you will get your big five themes. You're going to know what to do with them. Going to get guidance. You're going to get a monthly overview, moon calendar, so you can track all the phases. And then the hot spots every single day. There's some kind of transit happening most days of the year, and you can take a look and see what's going on today. Oh,
And you
shit.
also get
Mercury's retrograde. Yeah.
you're also going to get the bonus digital calendar populator where just with the touch of a button, you can add an alert for all of those hotspot dates and what the transit is to your Google Calendar, iCalendar. We've added that as a bonus for the last couple of years for early birds, and people really love it. I love that I can just like look at my phone and know what's going to happen. Then I can go to the book and, you know, read what we said about it. And it's
Super
wild.
count.
Like,
Yeah.
you get to the end of the year and it's like you realize, wow, like in astrology, there might only be a couple months left, but sometimes it's just like loaded up with some of the biggest moments. Certainly in 2025, it is, and it will be in 2026 again. So, it's just like it really is one of those things you want to have all year long. And if you're someone who likes to plan and prepare, then definitely get yours now because it's always first come, first served. We do a limited print run and then print again, but there's always a little lag time. So if you want a gift and it feels like we do print these domestically, but you never know what's going to mess with the supply chain and tariffs and any other part of it next. So that's
Yeah,
why
get
we're,
yourself in the queue because we
yeah,
start shipping in November and we'll be getting them out to you in the order that they have been purchased. We have our manifestation bundle. We're going to
yeah, we're going
offer
to
that again,
re-release
which is
that
really
too.
cool. That's a
Bunch of
bit
people got that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big book, like with all 12 signs. That's an individual sign book and our La Luna tote and the crystal of the year. You get that, which is carnelian, that fiery orange crystal. I
You can
really
do,
love this year's cover
I
too.
do too.
It's
I do
really
too. It's
cool. So
hot pink.
astrostyle.com/2026 dash book. We'll put that in the show notes, but that's on our site, astrostyle.com/2026 book. Or you can also go to our Instagram and grab it from there. We're at AstroTwins. If you follow us and get the bundles, if you have friends and family who love the book, three of the planners for $99. That's our special deal.
We do have a lot of professional, executive leaders, etc. This is a great gift for your team. So we have
Oh, true.
corporate rates as well. So do reach out if you're interested in that. If you want to like gift your team, uh, send us an email at astrotwins@astrostyle.com. I think actually we have a page too. So I'll add that link. I'll make a note to myself to make sure that's on the page.
It's one of our favorite things that we create every year. I mean, we've been working on it since January and just really feeling into every sign and giving it the same love that we do. There's also a love and career forecast, and as we actually have a word that encapsulates the theme of every single day that you can use like a mantra. So there's something for you every single day of the year in the single sign planner, and absolutely like the big book too.
The
You
big book
just
is great for like putting out and having people flip through, or it's the family coffee table, friends and family coffee table, or just if you're someone who's like always want to look up.
doctors' offices, practitioners, hairstyle. I mean, it's like dog-eared at the local coffee shop. Somebody stole it at Squirrel Chops. Shout out to Squirrel Chops, amazing coffee shop in Seattle. But I just dropped
Such a
off
funny
a
name.
few of them. Yep.
Yeah. So
There.
grab your 2026 pre-order. Seems like there's never been a better time to do things ahead of time in these unpredictable eclipse fueled skies. So doors are
Yeah.
open, and I have to say we just started our Astropreneurs 10-week mastermind this past
So fun.
Saturday. So if you missed out on that, hopefully we'll do it again next year. But I just wanted to say it that it feels so rewarding and great to have this group of people who are creating things in this world. There's so much destruction going on. So to be able to nurture these light workers who have soul centered, purpose led business ideas that are so healing. Some of them already have the businesses and they're working on them. It's just, it sort of feels like, one of the things that we're honored to be, I believe, meant to do on this planet. So we love helping people with that. And if you missed out on the program, but you still want some support around your purpose and your next move, get on our astrology readings calendar. We'll put, as always, put the link in for those as well. Have book
Yeah,
a chart reading with us.
astrostyle.com/readings. And on our Instagram, you can get it. So, this week is pretty heavy on the Virgo Libra side of things. Just to
Yeah.
give you a little closeout, Wednesday, Mercury's last day in Virgo will be opposite Saturn. So it's again like check the facts, check the facts. Don't speak too soon. Don't make assumptions. Then Thursday, we have Mercury moving into Libra. So hopefully that'll bring a bit more like dialogue. I mean, Mars is on its last days in Libra. Next week, it goes into Scorpio and squares Pluto. So that's going to be
It's like this
interesting.
baton handoff of Virgo,
I
Libra,
know.
Scorpio. Like the day Mars goes into Scorpio and leaves Libra, the sun leaves Virgo and moves into Libra. So we'll
That's on
talk
the
about that next week. But we're
equinox.
we're
Yeah.
head like the day after the eclipse, we have the balancing equinox, which I think we're gonna need. Um, and the eclipse, the Virgo, solar eclipses, I find are usually gentler typically than lunar eclipses because the lunar eclipse is full moon. Everyone's already emotionally charged.
Yeah.
Whereas the solar eclipse is a new moon, but it doesn't always work that way. This eclipse is opposite Saturn and Pisces. So, whatever new start it heralds for you, you're probably going to need to deal with some of those inconvenient, unavoidable Saturn pillars. Like you're not going to just slide into the next chapter without taking care of this. I have like
And the Mercury opposite Saturn on Wednesday is already going to stir
give a
that up a
little
little bit.
preview of that.
Yeah.
So it's like, will the justice departments of the world, of the country, actually do what they're of this country, shall we say, do what they're constitutionally
Doesn't seem like it lately.
sworn to do? No, it does not at
But there's
all.
so much, Mercury with Mars and Libra, even though they're far away, it's like stirring up more lawsuits. Venus in Virgo from Friday until October 13th. And starting off, like each one of these planets comes in squares or trines or just like very active because we have so many things at like 0 to 29 degrees. So it's like, there's just this like, what's happening? It continues the theme of this year where it's like, everything just feels like it is a video game, like it is a Sims game. So the year of the unbridled spirit next year, it's like that can play out in a lot of different ways. It could, I was joking. I was like, well, I hope it doesn't bring in the Antichrist, but
I think he's already here. Um,
yeah. But it's also like, will we see like more religious fervor? Absolutely. But will we also see like the human spirit and the connection rising? Absolutely. So we write all about that in the book. But just know that this week, there's gonna be this demand and this essential, like even in relationships and interpersonal, communications in your own life to like really make sure you're clear on what you're saying with
Mhm.
Venus and Virgo, clear on your expectations, clear on what you need from people.
We're so divided and polarized at the core value level. And that's what I feel like is being exposed by Saturn and Pisces and Uranus retrograde in Gemini. It's like you can't even reason with the person. So, how do we solve the problems that we can solve? Virgo's a problem solver. And we have a
It
Virgo
is.
eclipse opposite
It's
Saturn,
also the
which is barriers.
analytical. So maybe the year of the unbridled spirit will bring some new dialogues. I think so. It's a 1 year, but we have to make it through 2025's just
I think we got to
very
make. I'm on the
unclear
human design rocket
to
ship. I say
2027. Yeah. I mean,
2027. I think this is the breakdown of all those things that we used to try to coexist. They're
yeah.
not working anymore
Old
because we need
systems. Yeah.
something entirely different. And with
Maybe it
that,
isn't even, yeah, maybe it isn't even like, oh, we just have to make it through. Like,
I
how
just don't think
about
that
just
doesn't work. I just
make it
think,
through to
yeah,
what? How about just being present with every moment? Because that's the duality that a lot of us are living through right now. It's like, well, I can find something really joyful at like our Astropreneurs group and working on the
yeah,
book, like every
create.
day. Yep.
Where can you create? Where can you plant a seed? Maybe
Yeah.
the seed's going to be underground. This is the seed planting time. Like I'll end with this, but like I always forget to plant tulip bulbs in the fall because it doesn't make sense to my brain that you would plant something when it's starting to move toward winter, right? You think spring
Mhm.
plants. So what seeds, what flowers should get planted now that maybe will come up in the spring, or that we, when it's the year of the unbridled spirit in 2026, can then turn into plant
Love that.
medicine for ourselves and the
I
world. I'm
love
going to do a
that.
little research on that. All right, well, good luck. We'll see you on the other
Heading to the
side of the
airport now,
equinox.
and yeah, see you guys on Instagram next week. I'll be back with my sniffles and all. So thanks everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to AstroTwins Radio. If today's episode gave you an aha moment, we'd be over the moon if you left us a 5-star review. It helps fellow astrology lovers find us. And make sure to hit subscribe and follow us on iTunes and Spotify so you never miss an episode. Want the full visual experience? You can also watch the video version on our YouTube at AstroTwins-TV. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at AstroTwins and head over to astrostyle.com to read your free daily, weekly, and monthly horoscope that we write for you with love. Until next time, move with intention and let the universe meet you there.